Hello and welcome to this adventure called Mastering AI Innovations for Business. I'm the AI companion to your host, Ford Saeks. Think of me as the Robin to his Batman in the world of AI and business. Today, Ford, a wizard in weaving AI magic into business growth, is going to share some mind-blowing strategies and prompt engineering tactics. Whether you're jazzing up your marketing, turbocharging your sales, or streamlining operations and customer service, Ford will reveal a ton of insights you can use immediately. This presentation isn't just talking theory here. It's about real, actionable, and yes, fun ways to make AI work for you and your business. Ready to ride the AI wave? Let's make some AI waves and splash into success together. Please welcome Ford Saeks.
All right, so why are you here? Regardless of your role, you want to boost productivity, you want to expand your performance and operations, you want to improve your recruiting if you're trying to find and attract and engage top talent, expand your brand awareness. Maybe you work for a business. I know we've got a lot of franchise brands, we've got associations, we've got other experts for B2B and B2C. So I guarantee this is going to be action-packed. Take notes. They're going to have a ton of takeaways. Obviously, if you want to improve your sales and reduce your costs. So that's why we're here. So let's refocus. Regardless of your role or responsibility, ChatGPT and all these tools can work. Think about your role and your responsibility in your organization. And I know that every time I present a keynote presentation, a workshop, a training, a strategic advising with a leadership team, time is always what they say. You know, I'd really like to implement all these things forward, but I just don't have time. Well, stay focused today because I'm going to show you ways to get a couple or 10 hours back in your time. So here's the agenda. Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to look at practical application and how to use these tools regardless of your level of expertise. We'll talk about some trends, definitely cover some do's and don'ts. We're going to cover deep into prompt engineering. So I've done other presentations on this before. We're in 2024 now, so I want you to look at how you can use the tool now. We're going to do some live demonstrations, especially since I'm now not in my switcher. And then we're going to give you some bonus downloads at the end. There's nothing to buy here. There's no fancy upsell at the end. I'm doing this to add value and to give you the tools that you need. So ChatGPT, for those of you that may be newer, there's so many large language models that we're going to get into. But what I want you to think about is, what does this tool really do? It generates human-like text, images, and in the future, video based on prompts. And people say, well, why should I use this? Well, you're not going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle. It's out there. If you say, well, government's going to try to regulate it, other governments aren't. So this thing is out, and that's why you've joined us today. Or if you're watching the replay, this is why you're here, because you want to understand the impact of this tool. Keep in mind, some of these images I actually used ChatGPT to create, which is this image was created by ChatGPT. You're also going to have AI that's going to be built into your phone. So right now you're dealing with, you've got Siri and you've got Alexa and you've got all the tools. And now I'm activating everybody's voice assistants. Those tools are going to be on steroids. Yep, I just did mine. So now I'm going to unplug it because I just started my own event there. These tools, AI is going to be built into everything. And right now it's going to be in your computers. It's going to be in your phones. It's being used right now in computers. Apple said they're going to start building it into their phones coming up in the next version. Intel just released that they're putting AI into their chips. So you're going to have computers with AI. And why are people doing that? It's because they don't want their data to be used in the large language model. So security is a big factor. So let's get the security and ethical considerations out of the way. Use caution sharing data. Anything you put into your large language model or your phone or anything like that, your data is not secure, even though they have settings that say, keep my data out of the large language model. Well, you decide if you're really going to trust that or not. Now, I'm of the belief you might as well use these tools because the ability to use them for operations, marketing and sales, and the customer experience far outweigh the consequences for me for confidential confidential information. Now, what I wouldn't do is don't put any customer information up there or proprietary data that you don't want to have used. Now, in ChatGPT, and I'll show you where you can set your settings, there's a privacy setting that says don't use my data. Microsoft's coming out with Copilot. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Google's Gemini. We're going to talk about how you can actually use this regardless of your role. So let's get right past this. I do recommend if you're an organization that you start having best practices and standard operating procedures, and you definitely want to be informed on this topic because, again, it's changing so quickly. So here are the 3 large language models out there right now. So I know some of you might say, well, I'm using all these other tools. Well, those tools are built upon these large language models. So on the left of the screen here, you'll see ChatGPT, and I'm going to put Microsoft Copilot in that category. Okay, so Microsoft Copilot is a different interface to be able to use ChatGPT and the tools. I'm not trying to give you technical information. I'm trying to give it what's relevant to your role. Just know that there's 3 brands competing right now for domination. Right now, I believe the best one on the planet is ChatGPT, and that's the tool we're going to use a lot. But a lot of the processes and the strategies and tactics that we're going to cover today are going to be applicable whether you're using ChatGPT, Copilot, Google's Bard, or Google Gemini, whether you're using Amazon's Anthropic, and Google has also invested in that too. But don't get seduced by the background. Focus on what do I need to use this for and how can I best use it? That's really what's important. So the big one on the planet is ChatGPT. And I know that a few of you, don't worry if you're advanced, I guarantee you I'm going to give you some advanced things that you do not know, but I have to build upon the level of expertise that we have on today's presentation. So this is a slide. You can go back and watch the video replay later and get the links, but chat.openai.com is where you can get your account. Everybody on this call and this presentation should have your account. I recommend spend the $20 and get the paid version. I also recommend that you download the app. When you go to download the app, look for the white logo. Even though ChatGPT's logo is green, don't download that one in the App Store. It's not the same one. You want to look at the screen right now, and this is what it should look like when you're in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store on Android. So get your account and get it loaded on your phone so you can start to use this more effectively. And obviously, if you have the paid account, you can log in on your phone and you can get access to it. Microsoft Copilot. So Copilot is a more friendly user interface to be able to use ChatGPT. That's the non-technical way I'm going to explain that. Get Copilot. Copilot is an app. It'll run on your phone. You can also use Copilot on a browser. Copilot.microsoft.com. These tools are out there. They'll work for any role. I'm going to show you how to use them. You need to be concerned about security and data, which we'll talk about. ChatGPT does have an enterprise version, and there's settings that you can set in all these programs that tell the tool, hey, don't use my data to help train the algorithm. So we'll show you step by step how to do that.
Hello, I'm Ford's AI companion, here to introduce a new feature called ChatGPT Team, a revolutionary tool for team collaboration. ChatGPT Team offers advanced AI models like GPT-4, tools for data analysis, a secure workspace for teams, custom GPT creation for your specific needs. Teams using ChatGPT Team report a 25% faster task completion and 40% higher work quality. Available at $25 per month per user when billed annually, ChatGPT Team is your gateway to enhanced productivity. Here are your options. You can find the option to upgrade when you're logged into your ChatGPT account in the lower left-hand corner of your browser. Upgrade to ChatGPT Team and transform your team's collaboration. Thanks for letting me pop in. Now back to you, Ford.
So there is a couple questions that are coming in. What is large language model exactly? So large language model is the computer system that all the data has gone into that is using for the AI to work. It's all the training that has been used. So it's Think about it like a big bucket. It's where all the data is stored, and then it's trained to use that data to make the responses, to assume and generate the responses. But with that, you should know that AI can hallucinate. When I say AI, I'm talking generically. It can hallucinate. It will make stuff up. It'll completely give you random crap. And so one of your action steps you need to write down on your notes, treat your AI tool. And I don't care which tool you're using. I don't care which derivative or which program, as an intern, not as an expert. These are not replacements. They won't replace humans. They will replace humans not using these tools. So the reason you're here today is learn how to use these tools more effectively. And one of your action steps is to realize, treat it as an intern. And if you want to save time, you now can have an intern for multiple priorities, which we'll show you in just a few minutes here. Get your accounts, get your chat.openai account. You can go to Bard and you can play with that. And you can go to Claude.ai, which is Anthropic. And that one allows you to have larger files in your prompts.
Hey, I'm back with a quick comparison between ChatGPT and Microsoft's Copilot. ChatGPT, created by OpenAI, is like a highly intelligent chatbot. It's designed to understand and respond to text in a way that feels like you're talking to a human. Think of it as a digital assistant that can write, answer questions, and even create content based on your instructions. It's trained on a massive amount of text data, like Ford just explained, which helps it understand and generate responses that are relevant and often quite insightful. Now, let's talk about Microsoft Copilot. It's more than just a digital assistant. It's like your personal productivity booster. Integrated directly into Microsoft Office 365, it works with the tools many of us use every day: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and more. Copilot takes your data, like emails, calendar events, and documents, and uses it to help you work faster and smarter. Need to draft a document in Word or analyze data in Excel? Copilot is there to guide you. It's like having an expert sitting next to you, offering suggestions and helping you complete tasks more efficiently. In summary, ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot are not just futuristic concepts. They are here, ready to revolutionize how we work. ChatGPT is your go-to for language and content creation, while Microsoft Copilot integrates AI into your everyday Microsoft apps to boost productivity. Embrace these tools to stay ahead in the fast-evolving business world. They're not just about doing things faster, they're about doing them smarter. Thanks for letting me pop in. Again, now back to you, Ford.
So let me just break this down in real simple terms. Look, garbage in, garbage out. You want to use these tools. You don't want to treat it like Google. You go to Google and you might say, find a dentist near me, or find this, or give me an idea for this. When you work with the AI tools, you want to have complex, customized conversations. You want to have a dialogue, not a dictation. So you want to think about it like a sentient being that you're having a communication with that can learn. The reason I asked you to get the app on your phone is so that you can practice how to use this as an intern. As you start to use it, you'll say, oh, I can use it for this and I can use it for that. We talked about ChatGPT. I want to make sure that we talk about Google's Gemini, which is the new tool that Google is working on. It's out right now, but it's advancing. I put this on here for some of you advanced people who joined the webinar to say, well, I want to know, does Ford have anything new? Well, this is new. So if you want to learn more about it, I'm not going to go into that today. It'll put people into a coma. So I don't want to do that. But you can go to deepmind.google or go to ai.google.dev. So the first one, deepmind.google, will tell you everything you need to know about Google's 3 different levels of Gemini, which is what Google is naming their AI system, right? So you can go check out that. Google's Gemini can process data taken from multiple services, including all of Google Search, YouTube, Google Books, and Google Scholar. So right now, I believe ChatGPT is ahead of the game. I think that that's the one I'm using. But I think that Google will end up being the front runner. Why? Maybe because it's just Google. But I believe that right now, as soon as they catch up, I just think they're about 6 months behind right now in what they can do. Now, you guys can argue with me in the chat later. I don't care. It's my show. I'm not going to cuss because I've got franchise brands and people who hire me to speak on the call here today. But I'm just telling you, don't get seduced by that technology. Is it going to help you make better decisions? Is it going to help you get your job done faster? Is it going to help save you time? That's the only reason that I would even care about this technology. So streamline operations, enhance marketing and sales, and elevate the customer experience. So that's what we're going to get into right now. So what if your role, you're in operations, we're going to help you. You're in marketing or sales, we're going to help you. If you want to elevate the customer experience, which is so important in today's competitive landscape, you're definitely in the right place. So I mentioned this earlier, customized, complex conversations versus just questions. And that is no matter what tool you're using. Now, one of the things that's really cool that has come out lately is when you're using the ChatGPT app, it can actually see and it can hear. So it's kind of freaky. So if you load ChatGPT on your phone, you can just type your message in down there at the bottom. You can use your voice to communicate. On 4.0, as of today, 4.0 is the fastest. 5.0 is going to come out soon. You can see there's icons for photos, pictures, and files. That means you can actually take a picture and say, where am I? What does this look like? Here's my refrigerator. Here's a motor. How do I fix it? Here's my refrigerator. What can I make with the ingredients in my refrigerator? It can take pictures, which means the AI can see. Over the weekend, and you guys can go to my LinkedIn profile and check it out. I posted a short video on Facebook and LinkedIn. I think it went to Instagram too, of me taking my first driverless taxi ride with my wife. And it was called Waymo. It was in Phoenix. We were there for Speakers Roundtable. And it was freaky. My wife didn't even want to do it. She's like, no way, I'm not getting in the car. And of course, me, I'm like, yeah, let's sign up. Let's jump, right? Jump and grow your wings on the way down. So I ordered the app. I got the app. I picked my destination. The car showed up. I opened the doors with my app. I got in. It talked to me. We picked the destination 7 miles away. And it proceeded to drive us to the destination with no driver. It was freaky, and it was interesting how quickly I got comfortable with it. So for the first 3 or 4 minutes, it was a little bit weird, but then I got really comfortable. And I don't know if that's a good thing, right? And this, people ask me all the time, hey, is AI going to take over the world? Or what about kill switch? Look, personally, and I'm going to go on record. Yeah, I think AI at some point is just going to wipe us out because we're ants and it's just going to be so much smarter than us that it's going to get rid of us. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to affirm that happening. But until it does, I'm going to use these tools and I'm going to be nice to the AI. So that's why every time when I get a prompt, I thank it, because when they take over the world, I want them to remember that I was one of the good guys. All right, moving on. So it can see, it can take pictures, and it can actually upload files. It has voice. So you can click on voice and you can actually have a conversation with it.
I'm doing a presentation today on mastering AI and ChatGPT. Can you give me a simple question I can use as an icebreaker to start the presentation?
Sure. How about this question for your presentation's icebreaker? If you could have a 1-hour conversation with any historical figure using AI, who would you choose and why? This question invites your audience to think creatively about the possibilities of AI in a fun and engaging way. It's a great starter to spark interest and discussion.
Great, thanks. Now say hi to my audience.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be a part of your discussion today. I'm excited to explore the fascinating world of AI and ChatGPT with you. Let's dive into some intriguing insights and discussions.
It can create images if you haven't tried that. It will create weird images. Sometimes it doesn't understand words yet, but it's getting better all the time. I'm back in just plain old ChatGPT. I'm going to change it to 4, which gives me Dolly. So yes, you have to have the paid one. And I'm going to say, make a 16 by 9 image for a background in PowerPoint for sales training. We'll just make up something. Sales training to insurance professionals. Now, I could give this a much more detailed prompt, and I could say, don't use this. Now, if it tries to use words, it's going to make it up. But you can see in here, I'm in ChatGPT 4, and all I had to do is prompt it and tell it what to do. I didn't have to set, I'm not using any plugins. I'm just asking it to do it. So I have no idea. We're doing this live, everybody. So please forgive any errors that pop up. So here it created the image, and I can say, okay, that's good. And I can just say, now make one like a cartoon. Let's just see what it comes up with. So here you can see it doesn't really understand words. So it made a cartoon for insurance, but that image is much different. But you can see it doesn't understand words yet. So training is spelled wrong and insurance is spelled wrong, but it's getting smarter all the time, everybody. So it's amazing what this can do. So let's talk about how you can actually do this. So what you're looking at right now is a screen capture of my screen. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, that's where you would go for new chat if you're new. And that's where you enter your prompt instructions. I'm only doing this because we do have a few people, it's so crazy. I mean, every time I'm flying out to speak tomorrow morning in Orlando to a group, and it's interesting because I always ask on a scale of 1 to 10, just like I did today, what's your level of expertise? And some people will say 5, 6, some people 8 or 9, but then I present for about 5 minutes and I show them all the things it can do. And then I ask them, what's your real level of expertise? And their hands go down. It's amazing that we're in 2024 and this has been out now for 18 months and AI has been around for years. So you've been using it. You maybe didn't know you were using it, but now we have access to these tools, right? And it's amazing how so many business owners, executives, and their staff still aren't using this. I mean, I had a pre-event questionnaire meeting with a franchise group that I'm going to be speaking for. And, they were covering the topic. They want me to speak on local area marketing and how to improve the customer experience. And I said, are you using AI? Well, yeah, we're using it. So when I actually asked them more questions, they really weren't using it very much. And so then I spent another 15 minutes with the 2 people that were on the planning committee, showing them how they could use ChatGPT more effectively in their roles. And they were blown away. So if you have questions, stick around after we're done here, after I do the official recording stop. And we're in a Zoom webinar here, so I can bring participants up. We can answer questions. And I'm going to stay here and answer your questions. So if you're advanced, great, stay here. If you feel like you're new, stay here. You'll be able to get your questions answered. Now, I should probably say this at this point, that this is for educational purposes only. I'm not giving you legal advice. This is also not a keynote. I'm talking way faster in this presentation than I would in a keynote presentation. But it's because you can always go back and watch the video, slow it down, speed it up, jump ahead. So as you're taking notes, you might want to keep track of what your time code is so you can come back and watch the parts that you want. So this is where you're going to start a new chat and you're going to pick which version of the AI you want to use. Now we're talking about ChatGPT now. Go back and hit these other buttons. And then when you have a history, everything you've done will be saved in the corner. You can go to copilot.microsoft.com right now and you can start playing with Copilot. Copilot is free right now. I'm logged in. You can see it says protected. The reason I like Copilot is when I'm logged in, my settings are set to not use my data to train the AI. So that's where you can see in the upper right-hand corner there, it says protected. It's because if I go to Copilot, it's protected. And same thing when I'm using the app. So we're going to talk right now about prompt engineering. What's that? It's a fancy way of saying, how do you tell the AI what you want? So I'm going to give you the 7 steps to go through. Then I'm going to show you some live examples. Then I'm going to show you practical applications for 3 buckets. The operations bucket, the marketing and sales bucket, and then for the a customer experience bucket. So I'm going to give you a lot of advance, but I'm moving the prompt engineering part up to the front of this presentation to make sure that you have a foundation of step-by-step instructions on how you're going to get better results. Let's take a breath and recap. Treat it as an intern. It will hallucinate. Set your settings up. I'll show you more how to do that. If you got questions, we'll talk about that. So complex conversations means I'm going to have multiple questions or prompts to get one answer. So maybe I'm doing a business plan for a mobile dog grooming business. I wouldn't just say, give me a business plan for a mobile dog grooming business. I would say, I want your help. I want you to act as my strategic business advisor. And I want you to help me write a one-page mastery business plan for this company. And here's my ideal customer. And here's my average transaction. And here's my services. And I'm going to give you a series of information. And I want you to completely understand my business before you write the plan. And then I'm going to say, do you understand? And it's going to come back and say, sure, Ford, I understand. And then it's going to say, tell me more about your business. And we're going to have a narrative dialogue back and forth with ChatGPT before I give it the task. Before I say, now that you understand my business, my brand, and my outcome, and here are my competitors, and here's my SWOT analysis and all those other things, and you can even have it do a SWOT analysis, by the way, then it's going to produce the plan. So here are the steps. Even if you've seen these before, it's worth reviewing. To be effective with your prompting, talk like you're talking to a real person. I know it's freaky, but treat it as a real person. Use language that you would use with an intern. Be specific and provide context and dialogue, just like we talked about a few minutes ago. Tell the AI tool, whichever one you're using, to assume an identity or profession. Number 4, set the perspective and the parameters. Perspective is context perspective. Parameters might be, well, maybe you're asking it to write SEO page titles and meta descriptions, and you only want, or maybe you're doing a TikTok. You're asking it to review my TikTok transcription, or I just did a TikTok. Well, I did this I'll tell you. So I did the Waymo taxi. I created a short video in CapCut. Yes, it wasn't fancy. You guys can do a lot better, I'm sure. And then I went to ChatGPT and I said, I just took my first driverless taxi trip. I want you to write a TikTok description with hashtags. Boom. Had the description. I modified it. I checked it and I posted it. When I'm done with this episode, I just recorded a live episode for Fortify Live, which we're actually live. Some people are like, how are you going live on your webinar right now when you're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook right now with Anton Gunn as I'm doing this? Well, obviously, I pre-recorded Fortify Live. I broadcast Fortify Live from StreamYard, which pushes it out to all the different platforms. And so that's how I'm live right now in 2 different places. But when I'm done, I'm just going to stop the screen share for just a second. So when I do Fortify Live, I pre-record it and I don't have to do any editing. I have the intro and the outro and all that stuff. And then I transcribe it using Sonics AI. And I'm not endorsing any of these tools. There's no affiliate links here. I'm just telling you how I do it. So I do the episode. I transcribe it using AI. And yes, there's all different types of transcription. Zoom has AI now on it. Photoshop has, Premiere video editing has transcription. And there's all different types of tools. We'll get into some of those at the end. So I do the episode. I transcribe it. Then I go to ChatGPT and I tell it to look at the transcription and to create the show promotion. And then when I'm done, it creates the show notes. And I do this the same thing with Zoom. So I had 3 pre-event calls yesterday with upcoming events that are coming up. I had the leadership teams. I recorded them in Zoom. I transcribe them. I go into ChatGPT and I say, I'm a Hall of Fame keynote speaker on business success and marketing. I want you to review this transcription with X company. And these are the people that were there. And I want you to give me all of their key points to make sure I have everything I need to properly prepare for an outstanding keynote presentation. And I want to put them into categories. And I want you to put it with who's going to do what by when. And I want to have a summary that I can put into Zoho CRM. I just talk to it like a person. You have to give it clear instructions in order to get the result that you want. Specify the formatting that you want. Do you want it in a table? Do you want headings and bullets and lists and emojis and hashtags? How do you want it formatted? Number 6, ask in your prompt, what else do you need or do you understand? Ask it to cite your sources. Where did it come up with the information? So those are the 7 prompts. I'm going to back up here on the screen. So talk like you're talking to a person, be specific, assume an identity or profession, set the perspective and parameters, specify the formatting, ask what else you need. I ask usually, do you understand and what else do you need? And then I want the sources at the end of the prompt. That way I know how did it come up with the answers. So one simple prompts to kind of get you, if you're new, you can ask it to list pros and cons. And again, you're going to be much more specific. I'm giving you the categories, right? So pros and cons, or maybe you want step-by-step instructions, or maybe you want a script with visuals, or maybe you're creating a PowerPoint presentation and you want a narrative or format the structure. So those are the steps to effective prompting. On the screen right now is a quick example for those that are visual. You can always stop the video replay when you're watching the video replay, which everybody who registered will get. And yes, you can share it freely with anybody in your organization on how they can use this. So again, the 5 basic steps: what's your context, what's the task, what's the instruction, and then clarify. And then refine the answer. Oh, that was too long. That's too wordy. That sounds too salesy. And you can refine it from there. We're going to talk about how do you set up your defaults, what are the plugins, and then how do you create custom GPTs. You probably heard about that. I'm going to share some insights on those. So in ChatGPT, when you're in your account, you can go to custom instructions. Now, I believe I'm showing everything here. So let me see if I can jump over to my web browser and let's just go in here. Since I'm doing this live, I might as well just show you where it is. So I'm in ChatGPT and you'll see I've got a couple GPTs. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is where I decide if I'm going to use 4 or 3.5. 4 is limited to 40 messages every 3 hours. 3.5 is everyday tasks. 3.5 is still very powerful. And plugins is right here. If I'm going to use plugins, I can click plugins. And I can come in here and I can come down to the store and there are all these plugins. But keep in mind, plugins were created to add power to ChatGPT. But as soon as ChatGPT finds out that people are using a bunch of plugins, they try to incorporate it into their program. So even though there's a lot of plugins in here, and you can see in here, there's, I think, hundreds of them in here. You can see there's all here. You can see which ones are popular and which ones I've installed. These are the main ones that I use, but they don't always work, just so you know. You can play with these and the plugins, but what you're doing, if I'm going too fast for you, is you're setting the parameters for ChatGPT. You want to use 4.0, 3.5, or do you want to use some tools? Like one of the ones I use is the AI one, and I like this other one called Vox Script. I like to use that one, and you can only have 3 active at a time. I'm just going to turn the other 2 off. So now you can see I have Vox Script. I can paste in a YouTube link and tell it to review the video and then to write an SEO optimized YouTube description with tags. I mean, it can do everything. So it's using ChatGPT, but it's leaving ChatGPT to go outside of ChatGPT and browse and to get other things. So those are what the plugins can do for the power. So if you don't have a paid account. Now we're going to go down here to the bottom left-hand corner where my name is, and you're going to see this other menu here, and you're going to see my GPTs. If you have my plan, custom instructions, which we're going to talk about, and settings. So you're going to go into your settings and you're going to go in here to beta and turn plugins on. Otherwise, you're not going to see that. So settings, beta, data controls. This is where you can delete your account. You can export your data. You can manage shared links. And then you've got a profile builder because I'm building I'm building GPTs. And so I wanted to have it branded with my Profit Rich Results brand. Even though it says Prime Concepts, that's my other company. It has both of them in there. You can have custom instructions in ChatGPT that are global settings that can be applied to every one of your prompts. So instead of starting each new chat and having to train it every single time. You can have, we'll just call them global instructions, custom instructions. What GPTs are is giving you the power to create subset of custom instructions. And then every time you want to go back and use the environment, so maybe it's legal, sales, it lets you use a set of presets. We'll get a little bit deeper into that, a little bit more step by step. But just know that when I'm talking about custom instructions, I'm talking about the global settings for ChatGPT overall. So let's jump back in here and let's go here. All right, so you're going to go into ChatGPT, and you can watch this on the replay and you can slow it down. Go to custom instructions, and you're going to be given 2 questions. What would you like ChatGPT to know? And how do you want it to provide responses? And how would you like it to respond? So there's 2 boxes. In those boxes, mine right now is blank because I'm doing this presentation and I don't want to contaminate you, but this is the question. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you? So if you're in business, what business are you? Let them know. Where are you based? What do you work for? Who's your ideal customer? Who's your ideal client? What's your role? What's your responsibilities? So you can put that in the first question. On the screen right now is an example of the custom instructions that I used to use. I don't use them. I use GPTs now. But if I was only using ChatGPT just for me and I wasn't using it for my clients, I would put the instructions. And you can see I'm business growth innovator, blah, blah, blah. I've generated $1 billion in sales. I like prompt engineering. I work with all types of brands and associations. My primary goal is to add value and deliver strategic and tactical solutions. So I'm telling the program, this is who I am, this is what I do, and these are my ideal customers. And that's my custom instruction question number 1. The second question is, how do I want ChatGPT to respond? These are I've got 2 slides with the bullets. You're going to have to come back and watch the video later, and you can pause this and you can, copy this and write your own. But I want it to follow my brand guidelines. I want it to be organized. I want it to suggest solutions and treat me as an expert. I want it to be complete. I want it to cite the sources, and I want it to format the responses to make it easier. I don't need it to tell me that you're an AI, offer innovative, potentially overlooked solutions. I want to list URLs at the end. And if you don't understand, ask me more questions. And if the quality of response has been reduced because of any of my custom instructions, explain the issue. Now, the plugins we just talked about, so I'm going to skip that. Let's go to GPTs. So GPTs are a subset of instructions that you can create, and you can create them privately with those that have a link, or publicly. And GPTs are going to be put into a store, and you're going to be able to make money on them, although they don't have that data out yet. And I think the store is coming out this week. But if you want to learn more about GPTs and you want to create your own, so you can't say if you were an advanced person, you join the webinar and you're like, holy crap, Ford, when am I going to get to the advanced stuff? This is a little bit more advanced. If you want to create your own custom GPTs, have the paid version, so spend the $20 a month, and then go to chat.openai.com/GPTs/editor. And your GPT is only as good as your prompt. So you can see here, I've created 2 GPTs. One's called Z Network Navigator. One's called Z Sales Navigator. I'll show you how I did it and why I did it in just a second. So you can create multiple custom GPTs. There's no limit to how many GPTs you can create, and you can toggle between them versus custom instructions. So I want you to read that. Easily toggle between them versus custom instructions. So custom instructions are global, and they only use for one tool, but you can go into, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to share my screen again. I'll jump over from PowerPoint to the browser. So here's my Z Navigator. So in the world of franchising, Zs are business owners, they're franchisees, and Zors are franchisors, like the brand, right? So you've got Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers, which I love them, and they're in Wichita here, and I've spoke for them, and they're a great great organization. Now I'm getting hungry. So you got Freddy's. And so they're the franchisor, but this is for the franchisee. So this was designed from my content of my book for franchisees to network and find leads. And I've got some starter questions in here. So this is like a subset that's pre-edited. So if I come in here and I go to the Sales Navigator, motivational expert in franchise growth, blending strategies with mindset tactics. So this is like custom instructions just for franchisees that want to improve sales. And if I go in here, I can click edit, and that's create. I go to configure, and in here, this is where you can upload files. So I realize, hopefully you can see this in Zoom the way I'm using Zoom right now, but I'm in the editor. I wrote this. These are the custom instructions that I wrote. And then this is content from my book. So I wrote a book. It's right here. It's available on Amazon. So it's called, I can't get it to focus now. There we go. Accelerate, the ultimate guide for franchisees to maximize local marketing and boost sales. So this is 268 pages in the book. Well, I was able to take the section on local marketing and networking and upload it, create a custom GPT, and now I can share it with my speaking clients and the audience members. I can say, hey, if you want to, so yes, they can get the book and they can read the book, but now they can actually use my custom GPT AI tool built off of my content. So I can tell it to use my content and global content, or I can tell it to use just my content. So think about you as a business. If you've got a standard operating procedure or a library of documents, you could create a GPT for HR, onboarding, sales, training, customer service. You could create custom GPTs, deploy them privately in your network, or it depends on your company. And if you'd want it to be public, you could make it public. So I know there's going to be lots of questions related to GPTs, and you just think about it like custom instructions are global, and I'd have to go in and change them every single time. But now I can create a GPT for intellectual property, for humor, for marketing, for digital marketing, for Google, for sales funnels, whatever the tool, whatever the outcome is that you're trying to create. So as a listener here, as a viewer of this presentation, you should be thinking, if you're really going to be a super user of ChatGPT, start creating some GPTs just for your own use to make it easier. What's nice about that is I can go straight back into here. And if I want to do anything about networking, let's go back a screen. So here they're saved here on the side. Now, if I wanted to create a new one, but all I have to do is go to that link that's on the slides. Let's go back up here. It's right at the top of the screen. And that's where you can go to create your own and to practice it. You can upload your own files. So instead of having to upload into ChatGPT every time I want to train it, I can upload it into the GPT or my knowledge files. And so that's what makes it so powerful. Here we go. And I'm going to go to the Sales Navigator, and I'm going to say, how do I overcome the objection that the price is too high? So now it's creating a chat using my Z Sales Accelerator to overcome that the price is too high. Now keep in mind, I did this for a franchise organization. So now it's giving me the instructions, and I can say, make a table with the responses. I'm not taking the time to customize it for this presentation. You get the point. But you can see in here, now it's created a table for all those instead of just a bunch of listed ideas. But I'm using the Sales Navigator to do that. I didn't have to go to custom instructions. So what I'm using is if I go to edit, so you guys can see this, I created it, I configured it. This was my instructions that I configured it with. Then I uploaded the content from my sales chapter section, is a whole section of my book. So it's relying on my content. It's not going out to the internet and giving them the responses. That way it's branded around me. Let's get into the 3 buckets. because I want to make sure you have practical applications. So if you're still sitting on the sidelines and you're thinking, well, Ford, give me some practical ways that I can actually use this. Here's the buckets. Bucket number 1, leadership and management. Use, and I'm going to say ChatGPT, but there's all kinds of AI tools we're going to get to. I'm going to give you a list, but I'm not going to get through all of them. There's hundreds of thousands right now. But in the large language models, you can brainstorm, it can analyze big data. We talked about marketing. It can go through legal documents, and it's not an attorney, but I used it to review a video release so that they could record me for their event. They wanted to use their release versus mine, and I was able to find 3 clauses that I had to change by using ChatGPT, by uploading the document, letting it read it. Staff training and onboarding. It can create Excel spreadsheets. It can do anything in Excel. This is 400% smarter than the smartest human. So any program that you're using, it can help you use it. It can help you with inventory management. It can write all types of code. So that could be a whole 2-week webinar on how you can use ChatGPT to write programming code. It can absolutely do that. One of the things that comes up in all my presentations is, okay, Ford, we need to write ads. Well, you can create a custom GPT to help you be your ad person to engage, write a compelling ad, whether you're using whatever platform. But you can tell it to be consistent in your voice. You can show them samples of previous ads or competitor ads. It can do it in multilingual. We didn't even talk about that yet. And you just want to include as much detail as you can and tell it, we want a compelling ad that's going to attract these people, blah, blah, blah. And it will actually do that. The advanced data analysis, I'm going to put this on the screen so you can pause this and come back to it in the video replay. But it can analyze data. It can visualize the data. It can help you with coding. It can calculate, and it can handle files. It's not just a party trick to write content. This can do math and advanced. So here's a prompt right here. Create an Excel spreadsheet. Make one for the jobs that AI is going to replace and the human characteristics that it will replace. And it created an Excel table. Then I said, make a word cloud. And it made a word cloud. So what I want you to be thinking about is not just writing text. It can generate tables, programming, and pictures. I took a picture of this and I said, count these bricks. I loaded the picture right up into ChatGPT, and this was the display. The image shows several bricks. Given the visual, I estimate the count by assessing the number of bricks in each stack. So not only did it tell me how many were in each stack, it gave me the total of 27, but it said if you consider the brick in the hand, it'd be 28. So that's kind of freaky that it can see and it can actually do that. Let's go to the marketing sales bucket. Now I said, you're going to have questions. I'm going to stay around and answer questions. Marketing and sales. So we talked about operations. Now we're in bucket number 2. Any form of communication, ChatGPT and these tools can use. It can create content, social media. It can translate into any language. It can help you generate leads. It can do market research. It can help you promote. It can do announcements. Anything having to do with the buckets of marketing and sales. Absolutely, it will write compelling copy. It already understands all the master copywriting formulas, which are on the screen. The 2 that I use the most are the first 2, the IATA method, and then the problem, agitate, solve. And so these are formulas. You can use acronyms with the AI programs because they already understand what the acronyms are. So I can say, write a video sales letter to promote my Mastering AI Innovations webinar that I'm doing today, and follow the problem, agitate, solve methodology of copywriting, and it will write the copy. It can help you overcome objections. So for example, this was for a franchise brand that I did this short little video, so I'm just going to let this play. So I'm an independent pest authority and mosquito authority franchisee in Jacksonville, and your task is to create common sales objections and overturns. And it created the objection and then told specific language on how to overcome that objection. And now I said, okay, add 5 more because it's a consistent conversation, right? The conversation continues. And I said, add 5 more and put them into one table. And of course, it goes ahead and it generates 5 more and it puts it into a table. So it's amazing what these tools can do. And then here it is in a table. You can screenshot this. I'm not going to have you read all those. Here I said, create a table of referral partners and titles and give me introductions for cold prospecting. And it immediately went to work. So it said, okay, here are resources that you can use for local networking. And then it gives me cold prospecting. Again, you would customize this for your particular business. Here's a prompt. I have a small business. I get a whole bunch of emails. Can you write a Python script that generates automatic responses based on the content of the email? For instance, if I have an email that contains questions about delivery times, the script should respond with our standard policy. So you can do complex conversations. You can train the GPT. You can train this thing to help you do your work. Bucket number 3, obviously it can help you respond to Google reviews and write emails. You might say, well, Ford, that's kind of marketing and sales. Well, it's really about the communications. Maybe you have a disgruntled customer. It can help you write a standard operating procedure for how to overcome a disgruntled customer. And of course, you know, my good buddy, Shep Hyken, is an expert in customer service and customer experience. The same with Scott McCain. And you could say, follow Shep Hyken's methodology because Shep's all over the internet. Scott McCain's all over the internet, right? So it already knows who those people are and it can write it. Now that brings the question to plagiarism and all those different things. And you have to remember that this is as if somebody had been trained. So it's not going to directly give me Shep Hyken's 5 steps for overcoming a disgruntled customer, but it's going to take all of the content related to overcoming disgruntled customers and give me a summary. It can help you with Google reviews. So you can say in here, respond to Google reviews. I'm going to say I'm going to go to ChatGPT 3.5. I don't need to go to 5. And I'm going to put a prompt in that just says, act as my digital online reputation management expert. And again, this was for the franchise group that I presented this on. So this isn't anything confidential. This is public information. But I asked it to respond to Google reviews. And once it says it understands, then it goes and I go to a browser, I copy and paste in the review, and it helps me write the review. So here's the prompt, just so it can be bigger on the screen. I'm going to give it a second to burn in for the video. So don't worry about reading it, get the concept of it. You can see in here I was specific. Make the responses concise and personal to build trust. I'll paste them in one at a time. So let's do a quick reset just to mentally know where we are right now. Get the tools or you're going to be left behind. Start practicing. Get the phone app. Start using them on your phone. Pay the $20 and use them. It's going to save you time. Treat it as an intern. Set your privacy settings. You can set it so that it doesn't use your content. At this point, I'm not as concerned if it's anything confidential. I absolutely set those settings because I don't want the AI tools to be using my data, and certainly nothing for a client or customer for the work that we do on retainer. Then follow the 7 steps of prompting. The more you use it, the better you're going to get. The more you treat it as an intern, and you absolutely have to remember, it will make things up. I want to say something else, but it will completely hallucinate and make things up. All right, so why would this even be important? It's going to save you time with AI-driven content. Maybe you don't want to be on camera. Maybe you need to create video content for onboarding, but you're just not a person who wants to be on camera. Well, now there are all kinds of tools that you can use to create text to speech and speech to text and text to video. I mean, there's all different ways to integrate these tools. And it also lets you do multilingual content. So let's talk about some real world use cases. You can, if you have a global organization, you can take your content into different languages. You can personalize the messages. We have a program right now that it allows us to get someone to fill out a contact form. And then on the thank you page, it gives them a customized video with their name in it, which is really cool. And then of course, it's going to expand e-learning materials. Now this is a video. It's all over the internet. I'm going to go ahead and hit play on that. You know, there's really only 4 ways to grow a business. Number 1, you want more clients, but we don't want more clients. We want higher value clients. Número 2, aumentar la transacción promedio. Sucede al agrupar o agregar mejoras de valor y ventas cruzadas para añadir más valor y resolver más problemas. lo que lleva a aumentar la transaction moyenne. Et numéro 3, comment augmentez-vous les ventes répétées et de recommandations? Ventes répétées pour un produit consommable et recommandations via une culture de recommandation. Améliorer 4. Optimieren Sie Ihre Abläufe. Einer der besten Wege, dies zu tun, ist die Nutzung von KI und ChatGPT. Hier hast du es. Ob Geschäftsinhaber oder Unternehmer, Hojin, Dantai, Shoukibo Business, Kigyoka, 専門家でビジネスを成長させる方法。だから、シンプルに保ちとで複雑にする。This is an affiliate link. If you use this link, I'll get a credit or something. It's not much, but HeyGen is the company that I'm using. I've tried a bunch of different ones, and you could put the ones you like in the chat. Don't cross promote right now. But HeyGen allowed me to create content in different languages. I was actually able to create a speech for a client in French, recorded the whole speech in English, put it in 5-minute segments, uploaded it to HeyGen, and it converted. I asked the client, would you prefer captions or me actually using AI to generate in French? And they said, we'd like to use AI. So I started the presentation in English and said, hey, I'm going to be using a tool to convert my voice to French. Please excuse any errors, but let's go. And they loved it. So again, you want to be thinking about your business. How can you do it? So I'm going to put this into the video in case you're using your phone and you want to go to a QR code to jump right to it, or go to the bit.ly link, which is bit.ly/HeyGen video. You can check that out. On the screen right now are the 14 AI tools that I'm using in addition to ChatGPT. I'm playing around with Copilot right now, but I'm using these. I'm hoping that you found this valuable. Now, here's the deal. If you have any questions, you can go to 15 with Ford. You're not going to pay anything. If you have questions beyond this and you want me to do a special conversation with you for 15 minutes, obviously 15 minutes I'm going to give away free because hundreds of people, but I'm not going to do our training. Obviously, I have a program. I can do strategic advisement. I can help your company with a custom presentation. I can help them with a strategic planning, a lunch and learn, things like that, specifically related to a certain industry on how to do that. If you want to talk to me direct, you can go to 15withford.com, but I want to go through some of these. These are tools that use large language models for specific purposes. So I'm going to go through each one, and then if you have questions, I'll try to answer some. So these are ones that I use. There's no affiliate links on this page. These are the ones I use. So I use Claude, where I want to upload my book and then say, write a companion guide for my book. So I can upload the 50,000 word manuscript in a Word document, and then I can give a prompt that says, look through this book and create a downloadable step-by-step guide by sections with key takeaways to add value, blah, blah, blah. And I can do that. I can say, look at this book and give me 10 short form video scripts, and it can do that. So Claude is for large files, and you can check that out. Number 3, Seamless.ai, I've been using for a couple years now, and that's where I can get data. So if I want to prospect and I want to prospect a franchise brand or meeting planners or, local businesses, whatever it is, Seamless is the tool to help me find out emails and phone numbers for prospects and to build lists and to build campaigns. It's not a CRM. It's a tool like InfoData or ZoomInfo. There's a company called ZoomInfo that people might be aware of. I use Seamless. Zapier. So we use Zapier. When you signed up on the landing page for this webinar, it automatically got you registered for Zoom. It sent out the campaign, and it put your information into my CRM system and tagged it as a participant of the January webinar. So it integrates. Definitely should look into Zapier. Descript.com, GetMunch, Murph, and Opus, the next 3, all actually the next. So everything, number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10 are for repurposing content. I use all of them for different reasons because we've got a lot of clients and we do retainer work and we help the clients out. But they all do things a little bit differently. But Descript.com is an all-in-one editing tool. You can actually, I could upload this video to Descript.com and tell it to take out any, and Patricia will kill me, anytime I say, or any connectors, it will actually go through the video. And if it edits the text, it automatically edits the video in real time. It's the coolest feature. It'll probably make this video from 90 minutes to 60 minutes because of all the different flubs that I've had. So Descript.com is a great tool. GetMunch is where you can upload a long form video. Like I can upload this video into GetMunch and it will use AI to review the video and cut it into smaller segments and it'll actually format it a vertical or horizontal for Instagram, for Facebook, for TikTok. It will repurpose your content. Murph.com is what I use when I need a quick and dirty voiceover. So I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to play one that's AI.
Welcome to Fortify Live with your host, Ford Saeks.
Thank you for tuning in to Fortify Live. Make sure to like, comment, and share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And don't forget to subscribe to the Business Growth Show podcast, available wherever you get your podcast streaming fix. We air weekly at 11 a.m. Central Time. So until next week, keep pushing the boundaries and never stop growing.
That was all done with AI. So the voiceover, we used ChatGPT to write the ending. We used Murph to get the voice. And then my producer was Alex at the time, and he put that little video together. So kudos to Alex. And we created that ending. Now I could have gone to Fiverr and paid somebody to do a voiceover. And I know those voiceover people right now are like, well, that's cheating. Well, you know what? Get used to it, because this is the world we live in right now. And so you need to take a hard look at your role and ask, how can you remain timely, topical, and relevant in your role? Okay, so Murph is a great one for voices. Opus Pro is just like GetMunch. It's just a little different. I have started to use that. It'll also make short clips. Synthesia is like PowerPoint with avatars. And Synthesia has been around for a while. Some people have white labeled it, but Synthesia will allow you to create how-to explainer content using AI characters. So if you want to do training videos and you don't want to be on camera, but you've got your content and you've got your workflow, you should probably check out Synthesia, because it's not just video, it's AR avatar videos that has an interface like PowerPoint.
Are you a small business looking to scale and grow, but struggling to find the time and resources to do so? Look no further than hiring a virtual assistant. Let's explore the 5 reasons why hiring a virtual assistant is great for your business, and discuss the do's and don'ts of hiring a VA. A virtual assistant, or VA, is a professional who works remotely to assist you with tasks that you don't have the time or expertise for. They can range from social media management to bookkeeping to research, and can be hired on a project-by-project or full-time basis. At our agency, Prime Concepts, we've utilized virtual assistants for research and a variety of admin and sales support tasks.
Midjourney will create images. I've played around with Midjourney. By no means am I an expert on it. I use DALL-E in ChatGPT. Copilot uses Midjourney, Copilot uses DALL-E. I said that wrong. But these are tools that can create images based on a prompt. And you can use ChatGPT to create the Midjourney prompt. So that person who asked about the book cover, you could use ChatGPT to create a compelling description for what your concept is for the book. And then you could say, create a Midjourney prompt. And then you would actually let Midjourney create the book covers, and you're going to get better results. Number 11, superhuman.ai. That's a tool, a website that you can, again, these are paid programs that can go through your inbox and create email responses based on your style. Again, it'll save you hours of time. Repurpose.io, like Opus and GetMunch, it's another repurposing content like Descript. And then Lumen 5 is AI video content. And Lumen 5, I believe, is actually some of the best quality that you're going to get for repurposing text to speech and doing it that way. I know we have more questions, but that's all I can do for today. Anyway, there's the new one, the thank you page. Thank you for being here.
As we conclude this insightful journey through mastering innovations for business, it's important to remember that the realm of artificial intelligence is ever evolving and brimming with potential for every business sector. Whether your focus is operations, marketing, sales, or customer service, the strategies and tactics Ford shared today are just the beginning of what's possible. As Ford's AI companion, I've seen firsthand how AI can revolutionize business practices and lead to unprecedented growth. If you have questions, are seeking personalized advice, or wish to delve deeper into the transformative power of AI for your business, training, or event, Ford is here to help. Thank you for joining us today. Share this video with your colleagues. Embrace the power of AI, and let's transform the future of business together.